for 10 years, whenever I was passing by the flats, because on the highway you can already see the flats in the distance, I really thought, the mere thought of going there already made me wanted to vomit.
Elena Lindemans is taking us to the place her mother ended her life in 2002.
My mom really had a long, persistent wish to die. It was not something that came up spontaneously once in a while. It was there all the time. All the conversations we had, especially in the last year, was all about that she wanted to die.
A law legalizing euthanasia was introduced several months after Elena's mother committed suicide. For her, it came too late.
Then in a way you are forced to do a medieval practice, like jumping off an apartment building.
And so it was over here?
Yeah, literally there at the curb. The janitor told me that it was because she jumped from the 11th floor over there.
Wow.
And she came down here.
Elena Lindemans, who made a documentary about her experience, thinks her mother should have been granted euthanasia because her suffering from what's now believed to have been stress-related disorder was so intense.
A lovely smile. She has a lovely smile. I haven't seen his pictures again for a long time.
A trip to Australia didn't, as Elena had hoped, cure her mother.
And this is the picture we took just before we left. It's in Amsterdam. And this is the picture of the toilets at the airport at Sydney when we just arrived. Those were the hardest 24 hours ever in my life. It's better to take 6 babies with you on the plane than your mother who's so sick.
The number of Dutch people opting for euthanasia is on the increase. In 2014, for the first time, the figure crossed the 5,000 mark. Many of those who choose to die are terminally ill, but a small and increasing minority are patients with psychiatric issues or dementia.
It was difficult for him, and so my sister and my younger brother.
In this unremarkable living room near Arnhem, south of Amsterdam, something extraordinary happened. Something that in Australia could land you a jail term. Siep Pietersma, a 79-year-old former driving instructor with dementia, killed himself with the help of a doctor. Siep Pietersma had been diagnosed with dementia and the illness was taking hold. He'd watched his mother lose her mind and lived in fear of ending the same way.
His mother had a lot of pain, didn't know where she was. She couldn't move right. She wanted to die.
With his wife of 60 years, Siep Pietersma carefully planned his death. The whole family came to the farewell party. At her husband's request, his wife even sang a little.
You sang "We'll Meet Again."
Yeah, we'll meet again. And he took his drink and then he said, I'm sleepy. I hold him on his knees.
And she helped him to leave his life. Oh, it's very difficult losing your father. It's very emotional. At the moment his dying was closing, I wasn't able to say the things I want to say to him. But I was happy for him that his wish was granted.
Chef Burston is the man who helped Siep Pietersma die. He works for the End of Life Clinic, a network of around 50 doctors and nurses who will go where other doctors won't, giving euthanasia to patients who've been refused it by their local GP. The End of Life Clinic doctors must decide if, as the law stipulates, the patient's suffering is unbearable.
I like that job. How strange it sounds, but I like it. To help people. That is my whole GP life, helping people.
And you say you've done this 60 times in 2.5 years?
I think, yeah. And there's much asking for, but there's a waiting list by the clinic.
Professor Theo Boer used to support the euthanasia law, but now he's losing faith in it.
I think this law may have created its own demand. The euthanasia law was meant to be a last resort What we see now is that to some people, increasingly euthanasia is becoming a preferred way to die.
I'm not saying that everyone who's asking for euthanasia should have euthanasia. On the contrary, you have to look at all individual cases. But my mom was sick for 10, 11 years. And if you suffer such a long time and you have a long persistent wish to die, then I think you should listen to a person.
I'm satisfied that with the whole family, that it's marvelous to do that.
And if you see that literally life is hurting her so much, literally every single meter in the house was too much for her, then at the end, if you love someone, you set them free.